Welcome back, everybody. The expansion of the Poetry Africa Festival into cities outside its Durban base is an exciting development. Last year, the Centre for Creative Arts at the University of KwaZulu-Natal, which produces the festival, partnered with the University of Joburg Arts and Culture to present a Johannesburg leg of Poetry Africa. The 27th edition this year returns to Johannesburg while also making a turn in Bloemfontein. Poetry Africa has a rich history of showcasing the diverse voices of poets and artists from across the globe. The Joburg leg kicked off on the 5th of October at the Keorapetse William Kgositsile Theatre, where Professor Muxe Nkondo presented the second Keorapetse Kgositsile Lecture, and this was followed by the slam poetry competition, where 10 semi-finalists selected from a nationwide competition competed for a chance to secure one of the 5 coveted spots in the final round. The Johannesburg leg of the festival will concluded with a captivating lineup of international poets. To tell us more and what other provinces can expect from the 27th edition of the Poetry Africa Festival, we are joined in studio by scholar extraordinaire and policy expert, Professor Muxe Nkondo. Prof, a very good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome.
Well, thanks very much for the honor. And
it's an absolute pleasure. Good to have you. I'm basking in the glory of greatness here.
Wow, I don't know about that.
All right, first of all, tell us about your key focuses of the Professor Kgositsile lecture, that is.
Yeah. First, thanks very much again for the honor, and thanks for your audience, for the patience. I'm about 5 minutes late. I'm sorry about that. I think the main questions that I address are about 4 or 5. The first one is the struggle against apartheid is vast and complex. There are so many issues that work together, so many forces that function together, so many people working together in South Africa, on the continent, in the US, and the entire diaspora. So when you want to capture the complexity of these issues, the various interactions, among forces and persons, you have to opt for a form of expression,
yes,
and a form of communication that will be concise and focused. It would have been easy for Brawili to go for the narrative, the long story, the novel, the drama.
Yes.
But instead, given the complexity and the integrity of the issues, he opted for poetry. Why did he opt for poetry? Poetry does 1 or 2 things. It concentrates ideas and feelings. It's not what you think, but how you feel about an idea and about a situation. It is the integral link about ideas and feelings and attitudes that poetry allows him to compress together. You see, you can't do that in a lecture like this. You can't do that in an essay or in a novel. Okay. You can't do, but you can do it in poetic form.
Yeah.
But beyond that, it became more detailed, that even in poetry, you have to look for the most succinct form, and he chose the lyric. The lyric, you can do it in 4 lines, in 10 lines. You can abbreviate narrative. You can compress stories. And you can then express the intensity of your feeling without narrating how you came to feel like that.
That's actually a very profound assertion you've just made, and I quite like the point that you made on the concentration of ideas and feelings. So how then did you manage to capture, Professor Kgositsile's ability to articulate himself through poetry, even at the most difficult times, such as exile?
Yeah, that is, in fact, exile becomes one of the problems, but one of the inspirations.
Yes.
You remember he has a whole selection His last collection was called Home Soil in My Blood. He is longing to be back home. He is longing for origins. But not only South Africa as a place, but South Africa as a political geography of shared pain, shared displacement, shared dispossession, which links us up with all the struggles on the continent, the US, and the diaspora. So that's what makes him so it was very succinct and very powerful. But beyond all, Brawili had this uncanny ability to tell a story through emotions. When he was in Tokyo and enjoying himself, the beauty of the Japanese evening, he used that moment to tell the story about the whole struggle, to compress history, to compress politics to the intensity of a single moment. That is great imaginative power. And that's Brawili's best. It's very, and in his collection, This Way I Salute You, he says to Neruda, he says to Mongane Sorota, he says to Dennis Brutus, to Chinua Achebe, that I'm going to use poetry to honor you. This way I salute you.
And there's no better person to honor him than yourself. I mean, you've been friends for over 40 years and you work together on so many projects. So how then can we keep his memory alive? I mean, just considering all the literature that he left behind.
Firstly, in his poetry, where he teaches, his lectures, he teaches how to write poetry. That's how we should go. We should have classes where aspiring poets are taught how to write like him. There's a whole series of lectures that we should use. That's the first one. The second one, we should continue the memorial lecture series. Followed with poetry readings to dramatize and enact the memory of Brawili and make it live in workaday situations. That's what we should do. Dramatize it that way.
Unfortunately, Professor, we have to leave you there. I'm getting goosebumps just listening to you and, just basking myself in the legacy and the memory of Professor Kgositsile. Lovely chatting to you.
Well, thanks very much.
Thank you. Well, that was scholar extraordinaire and policy expert Professor Muxe Nkondo speaking to us about the 27th Poetry Africa International Festival. This festival runs from the 5th of October to the 17th of August. Now, the Joburg leg has just ended. Durban and Bloemfontein, you are up next.